Welcome back, ghosts and ghouls, to day 2 of Cryptid Week, our annual Halloween celebration where we cover a new cryptid and put said cryptid in a tier list ranked based on if I'd eat said cryptid. Today, we are covering one of the most documented cryptids I've ever come across, and it is the most famous modern American werewolf, the Beast of Bray Road. Now, granted, apparently most cryptozoologists label the beast as a type of Bigfoot because on a scale of scientific absurdities and impossibilities, they're okay with all kinds of weird and wacky cryptids, but they draw the line at werewolves, I guess. But as far as I'm concerned, it's a werewolf. Native to Elkhorn, Wisconsin, many residents believe the creature is satanic in nature. Apparently, satanic rituals were popular in the area in the late 1980s and early 1990s. Animal sacrifices were so prominent that a Walworth County humane officer, John Fredrickson, was at one point called in to investigate what he described to be an animal graveyard, where he found multiple animal carcasses, many of which were missing organs. Strangely enough, the site was bulldozed before any investigation could be made. John chalked it up to teens just messing around, despite finding out that Walworth County was one of the 3 most notorious counties in the area for satanic rituals at that time. The beast is said to be a bipedal canine about 5 to 7 feet tall with brown or gray fur and glowing red eyes. It apparently walks around on its hind legs, dropping to all fours when it sprints, and is associated with fog and foul smells. It also has claws. Now, we have both first and second-hand accounts and sightings. So let's dive into the lore in timeline order, shall we? The earliest sighting on record is back in 1936. Joe Shackleman claims in a second-hand account that his father Mark once saw the creature. Working as a night watchman one night at St. Coletta, a Catholic convent 2 miles east of Jefferson, Wisconsin, Mark allegedly spotted the beast clawing at a Native American burial ground. He returned the next day to investigate and found 3 claw marks. The next night, Mark returned again, and this time the creature noticed him, stood up, and faced him. The creature, smelling like rotting meat, groaned in what is described as a neo-human voice, made eye contact with Mark, and slowly walked away. And here is Joe's sketch of the creature, based on his father's description. In another second-hand account, a man named David Jetson claimed to have worked as a Department of Natural Resources agent in 1972. He was called out to a farmhouse 2 miles away from St. Coletta's. He claims a woman saw a strange ape-like creature walking around in her farmyard, and he was tasked with investigating. He didn't find anything, but 2 weeks later, the unidentified woman called again. Apparently, the creature walked up to her front porch, rattled the screen door, left a slash mark 7 feet above the ground, then proceeded to leave a 30-inch gash along the neck of one of her horses. Now, this is the last second-hand account that I'm aware of, so from here on out, it's all first-hand and more credible. In 1989, a woman named Lori Indrizzi was driving home via Bray Road late one night. At around 1:30 a.m., she noticed a figure on the side of the road. As the figure came into view, she first saw 2 pointed ears, and then the front of the beast. The beast was kneeling and holding roadkill in its claws. The beast's eyes illuminated as the car's headlights shined on it. It wasn't scared, though. It just watched Lori as she drove away. In late December of 1990, young Heather Bowie was out sledding with her friends. When dusk rolled around, they saw a large dog-like creature with silver and brown fur. Its face was apparently shaped like a coyote's. As the beast stared at Heather and her friends, they slowly backed away without turning their backs to the beast. The beast started chasing the kids, but turned away when they reached their house. Doris Gibson was driving home through the fog on October 31st, 1991. Oh, so on Halloween, spooky. She was driving down Sittler Road, now called Hospital Road, apparently, when she felt her tire lift off the ground. She pulled over, thinking she hit a small animal. As she walked toward the rear of her car to check, she spotted the beast charging at her. She barely made it back in her car and quickly stepped on the gas. Upon inspecting her car afterwards, she noticed what looked to be claw marks on the back of the trunk. On an undisclosed later date, Doris was also driving home from a party with her friend. Her friend pointed out a creature stalking the side of the road. Doris reportedly didn't even look at the creature, just floored it and got out of there as soon as possible. In August of 1992, Tom Brichta and Chris Maxwell had gone to a wedding reception and were staying at Jellystone Campground near Fort Atkinson. As Chris was driving through the thick fog, he hit something. Thinking it was a mailbox, he began to reverse until he spotted a large, hairy creature with a horrible odor, similar to a skunk. The beast apparently reached out and scratched the side of the car. In January of 2020, Danny Morgan was driving down Weeks Road, about a mile from Bray Road, when he claims to have spotted and photographed the creature. The picture is on screen here. Apparently, the image is widely believed to be a fake. The right arm looks skeletal, the stomach should be lower due to gravity, and while the creature appears to be in motion, no motion blur seems present. In May of 2020, Ron Rice apparently traveled to the town of Lyons to deliver fertilizer to a farm on Highway 36, something he regularly does. While in his truck in the farm's driveway, he looked to the side and noticed a creature standing at the edge of the tree line, about 150 feet away. Apparently, the nearly 7-foot-tall beast picked up an unidentifiable object and retreated into the woods. Finally, Lee Hampel, a retired high school teacher, moved to Elkhorn, Wisconsin at an unspecified date or year. He apparently was cleaning up roadkill one day and placed it in a hole on his property. A couple days later, he noticed that the dead raccoon had been cut open from the neck to the abdomen. Later, he put a dead badger in the same hole, but noticed the raccoon had been moved about 20 feet away. After setting up cameras, he put a dead deer on the property, and after noticing it was gone, looked at the cameras. Only a mist was seen moving in and out of view, taking the deer with it. However, Lee did find tracks and made casts of them. His pictures are on screen now. Here we see the mist allegedly right before the deer was taken. Here, a picture of the tracks. And here, a side-by-side comparison of the beast's tracks compared to a wolf's tracks. The wolf is on the left and the beast is on the right. And with that, let's finally jump to the tier list. The Beast of Bray Road, as we mentioned, is associated with mist and fog, with a foul odor similar to a skunk, and is very dog-like. Now, I do not know what dog tastes like, but after a search that will probably put me on a list, it's reported that dog tends to taste similar to venison or pheasant, but slightly sweeter, apparently. Figuring in the odor, I imagine the Beast of Bray Road would taste like a deer carcass that has been kept out a tad too long. Not inedible, but certainly questionable. However, factoring in the fog, maybe it would be a sort of smoky tang to it as well, you know? All in all, I'm gonna put it in C tier. I'd probably try a taste, but I doubt I'd be going back for seconds. That's all for today, though. Tune in tomorrow for the final Cryptid Week 2025 episode.